Some really aggressive sparring here. Wow. Dustin Poirier is a southpaw, by the way. Yo, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Now in today's video, we're going to go ahead and react to Dustin Poirier's very rare sparring footage. There isn't that much sparring footage of Dustin Poirier out in the internet, even though he's been in the sport forever. We're going to go ahead and cover that, and we're also going to talk about a little bit of what we could expect Dustin Poirier to do against Max Holloway, which they have their fight coming up later on. Some really aggressive sparring here. Wow. Dustin Poirier is a southpaw, by the way.
Get down.
This is really hard. Really hard sparring. Like, he's really trying to put it on this guy.
You got to pay for it one way or another. You might as well do it now. Take it like a man. Come on. Keep your hands up, Albert. Come back to your face.
Oh my. Jeez. Alright, so more sparring footage here from Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier is a southpaw, so I think that one of the best things that he does is creating momentum for himself, knowing when to bait his opponents and to come in, because fighting in the open stance is just completely different from fighting from a closed stance. For those of you guys that don't know what an open stance is, that's southpaw versus conventional. A closed stance is a conventional versus conventional. And for anybody out there that has fought a southpaw as a conventional fighter, you guys know that it's kind of frustrating, because southpaws learn how to fight a specific type of way, and that is usually by being a natural counter fighters, because most, and I'm talking about most successful southpaws, are very good natural counter strikers, and that's just not me saying it. There's data to back that up, and that's pretty much the general rule in any sport, right? You could be like a southpaw in wrestling, you could be like a southpaw in MMA, Muay Thai, boxing, kickboxing. There's always going to be a positional advantage whenever you guys are fighting from the open stance, being a counter fighter. That goes either way. If you're a closed stance type fighter or a southpaw, in my honest opinion, whoever is counter punching the most is usually winning the fight. And that's like against two really good strikers, right? Like, obviously, if you're a southpaw and you've been in the gym for longer, you could get away with pressuring your opponent a lot more and landing. But in my honest opinion, like, if you have a little bit of experience and you're facing against somebody else that has a little bit of experience, usually whoever is in the positional advantage is landing the better shots. One of the things that Dustin Poirier does very well is pressuring his opponents, and that might be contradictory to what I just said, but he does it on purpose, because he's trying to get his opponents to attack first. Like in this instance right here, like literally right here, he's literally walking forward to get his opponents to throw some sort of offense, and then he tries to land and counter off of it. Right there, that's like a perfect example of what Dustin Poirier is. He comes forward, he tries to get his opponents to pretty much become offensive, and then he just works off the offense that he's creating from the counter punching, creates momentum, and just doesn't stop. And he does that a lot. We've seen him do that in multiple fights. I think his most recent performance, where we saw Dustin Poirier be like a natural counter fighter by creating momentum and creating pressure by literally pressing into his opponents, was against Benoit Saint-Denis, where he literally forced Benoit Saint-Denis into becoming offensive so that he can land his own offense, being the counter striker. So the one thing that I will say about Max Holloway whenever we do review some of his sparring footage, which is very limited, we could go ahead and watch some of the fights, but I just don't want to get flagged by the UFC, is that Max Holloway is the type of guy that will stand on the 50-50 and trade with you. And that is a very dangerous position to be in the open stance, fighting a southpaw that is like Dustin Poirier, which we just covered, that he tries to get his opponents into becoming offensive so that he could counter. And I think that Max Holloway, his game has a place in the sport, and obviously that has got him a lot of success. But I just don't think that that's the best position to be in, fighting a southpaw, especially someone like Dustin Poirier. And I mean, like the history between them, speaks for itself. I mean, there hasn't been not one fight where Max Holloway has beat Dustin Poirier in the past. Obviously, these guys have a lot more experience and they are a lot more polished as professional athletes, but that doesn't take away from their natural instincts. I mean, at this point, I really do think that Max Holloway just has so many reps fighting a particular type of way and fighting behind a particular type of system, where I think that he is in a predicament in this fight. I think that he is going to make positional mistakes based on like all these theories that I'm just talking about, and I think that he could potentially lose this fight the same way that he lost his second bout. I think that he definitely will have some good moments. I definitely do think that he will have some great exchanges with Dustin Poirier and find success. But at the end of the day, if you're asking for my personal prediction, I just feel like 8 times out of 10, Dustin Poirier beats Max Holloway. I mean, obviously, there's some important factors to consider. Dustin Poirier is a lot older. Well, not a lot older, but he is older. Max Holloway, right now, in my honest opinion, is in his peak, still in his peak physical prime. Will that make a difference? I mean, who knows? I still think that Dustin Poirier is able to compete at the highest level, and I still do think that because of his system, he's still a viable threat to Max Holloway. But some people are saying that, Dustin Poirier is like an ancient fighter for his division, and there is some truth to that. I mean, Dustin Poirier isn't the youngest guy. I mean, he does have a lot of success in the UFC, but for the lightweight division, he is on the older side. Let's just go ahead and be honest. And then Max Holloway right now, in my honest opinion, he's like what, 31, 32, like literally still in his peak physical form right now, the most testosterone he's ever gonna have at any point of his life. And I think that, in my honest opinion, that could play a factor. We'll see. We will definitely see. Obviously, in terms of like physical attributes, Max Holloway is the taller, the lankier guy with the longer legs. Is that going to play a factor? I mean, do we really expect Max Holloway to throw leg kicks? No, I don't. I do think that this is just 100% going to be a boxing type fight, just like the second fight where they landed a lot of their strikes with their boxing. And I mean, it isn't a secret that Max Holloway, I think, is going to be the guy that has a lot more stamina in this fight. I mean, he's one of the fighters that has the most significant strikes landed, like in the UFC history, and he's more of a volume puncher, and this isn't a secret. We all know that Dustin Poirier is a guy with the much more knockout potential in this one, and that's not a secret. I don't think that's any argument to that. We've been watching these guys for years, and it's pretty much tried and true. I mean, Max Holloway does have that good knockout against Justin Gaethje, but that's just literally one performance, and against a guy that fights nothing like Dustin Poirier. I mean, just go ahead and be honest about that. And I don't know. I think if this fight were to go down 10 times in a row, I still do feel like Dustin Poirier beats Max Holloway. But like I said, there are some pretty important differences in this one. Number one, the age difference, and number two, Max Holloway coming back to lightweight with a little bit more muscle, being the younger guy in his physical prime. But we will see. I think positionally, Dustin Poirier does take it, based on what we've seen so far on film. But anything can happen, and this is just the sport of MMA. If you guys have enjoyed this video, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. As always, ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure. Peace out. Subscribe to the channel and have a good one.